Imagine spending a couple of days glued to your TV screen watching a major, only to see an unknown golfer lift the trophy in the end. Sounds disappointing, right? We can't say if it was a stroke of luck, divine intervention, or the real pro golfers just having a bad day, but there have been several surprising major winners. In this video, we're counting down the 10 worst pro golfers to ever win a major tournament. Now, winning a major championship is how we recognize great golfers. Of course, Jack Nicklaus has won more times than anybody else, with a total of 18 wins throughout his career. There was a time when we bet Tiger Woods was catching up to him soon, but even he's been stuck at 15 wins since 2019. Still, there's no denying that anyone on the course can win a major if they're having a really good day. All golf fans remember the iconic 1999 Open when Jean Van de Velde needed at least a double bogey to bag his win, but ended up tripling and losing the playoff to Scott Paul Lawrie. Don't recognize any of the names we just took? Yeah, that's because nearly anything can happen on the golf course. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. First up, at number 1 on our list of the worst pro golfers ever, we've got Ben Curtis. You might remember the 2003 Open Championship when Ben Curtis was into it with 300-to-1 odds to win it all. It's pretty easy to say that almost nobody expected him to walk away as champion. Still, that's exactly what he did though. Curtis ended up beating the great Thomas Bourne and Vijay Singh by one lucky stroke and made his way to claim the Claret Jug. Interestingly, Curtis was the only golfer who wasn't a pro, but still lasted till the end of the tournament. 2003's Claret Jug was Curtis's first tour win, and even though he's won 3 more after that, none of them were major tournaments. In fact, he hasn't been able to make that cut in a major since 2013. So long, Curtis. Next up, at number 9, we've got Rich Beem. Back in 2002, Beem won the ugly stepchild major. Oh, wait, we meant to say the PGA Championship. He beat the legendary Tiger Woods by just 1 stroke at Minnesota's Hazeltine National Golf Club. Coming into the PGA in 2002, he had only won twice on tour before, so it's safe to say that even he wasn't expecting to win the major that year. It's also safe to say that he was a one-hit wonder because he hasn't had a top 10 finish in a major ever since. It's no surprise that the '02 Championship was the last time Beem came out victorious on tour. But on the bright side, he did lose the 2005 Bell South Classic in the 5-man playoff. So you gotta give him some points for that. Before we forget, he also won the Nissan Altimas in 2007 with a hole-in-one. So that's pretty cool. Moving on, at number 8, there's Todd Hamilton. We think golf was going through something in the early 2000s. Just a year after the surprising Ben Curtis victory, another long shot came and stole the Claret Jug once again in 2004. This time, it was American golfer Todd Hamilton. If we tell you Hamilton bested the golf legend Ernie Els, would you believe us? Well, that's exactly what happened. Hamilton got his second PGA Tour victory after beating Els by just 1 point in the aggregate 4-hole playoff. And the rest, they say, was history. Interestingly enough, Hamilton's only other big win also came in 2004. Was he just having a good year? Probably. A few months before his Open win, Hamilton had won the Honda Classic. He was still riding high on that victory when he won the Open. Maybe it was just the good vibes. As one of the former champions, he still received an invitation to the Open every year. Unfortunately, though, he hasn't made the cut since 2013, and even that year, he finished 73rd. Also, he has no other major golf top 10 finishes, so that's that. Next up, at number 7, we've got Y.E. Yang. Before we tell you about his victory, there's a shocking statistic we'd like to share. Yang is the only Asian-born golfer to ever win a major. Back in the 2009 PGA Championship, Yang took his victory by fending off Tiger Woods at Hazeltine. Despite having the lead after rounds 1, 2, and 3, Woods collapsed right before the big finish. He fired a 75 that opened the door for Yang to step in, and that's exactly what the '09 champion did. Yang ended up shooting a 2 under 70 and made his way to victory. Apart from the PGA Championship, Yang only has 1 other tour win in his career. He's also finished in the top 10 in majors 2 more times after that. Now, at number 6, we have a more recent golfer to talk about, and it's Danny Willett. 2016 is pretty recent, right? Well, if you ask us, we remember the day like it was yesterday. It looked like Englishman Danny Willett came prepared on Masters Sunday in 2016 as the opponents kept crumbling around him. Still, the defending champion Jordan Spieth was holding his ground quite well. He held a 5-shot lead heading into the back nine, but then came his collapse. Taking advantage of the situation, Willett rose to the occasion and shot a 5-under par round of 67, which gave him his first major championship win. That only PGA Tour win that Willett ever experienced, and he's only finished in the top 10 at one other major, which was the 2015 Open. Oh wait, did we mention how Spieth had to hand over his green jacket to Willett? Yeah, that was a pretty iconic moment. Next up, at number 5, there's Lucas Glover. Throughout his career, Lucas Glover has only won a total of 3 PGA tournaments. Still, we'll have to call him a golf legend because of that one victory at the 2009 US Open. Before that, he was ranked 71st in the world, so nobody really thought that he'd be walking away as champion. But hey, like we said, you never know what happens at a golf course. At the 09 US Open, Glover finished at under 4, which gave him a 2-shot victory over legends like Ricky Barnes and Phil Mickelson. Since then, Glover has only been back at the tournament twice, and the last we saw him was in 2011. In fact, he rarely ever qualifies for the other 3 majors too. Talk about a one-hit wonder. After that, at number 4, let's talk about Keegan Bradley. This 32-year-old golfer has only 3 PGA Tour wins in his cap, but since one of those was the 2011 PGA Championship, we're kind of forced to call him a pro golfer. Back then, Bradley found himself competing with another relatively new golfer at the time. Before Bradley won, we could bet he was going to lose. And then, before we knew it, Dunfer and Bradley had tied, forcing a playoff. In the aggregate 3-hole playoff, Bradley went 1 under and Dunfer went even par. If we recall correctly, then Bradley couldn't stop smiling throughout the post-victory press conference. It was pretty cute. Since then, Bradley has only managed to get one other PGA Tour win at the 2012 Bridgestone Invitational. That win also elevated him to number 15 in the world rankings. Unfortunately, he hasn't finished in the top 10 at a major since the 2014 US Open. In fact, he isn't even qualifying that often anymore, so we don't think we'll be seeing him lift a trophy again. Next up, for our second runner-up on the list, we've got none other than Trevor Immelman. Immelman got himself the green jacket at the 2008 Masters tournament when he bested Tiger Woods by 3 strokes. That was his one and only major win, and actually his second win on the entire tour. But hey, he did win over Woods both times, so we have to give him some credit for beating the best in the game. Again, as a former champion, Immelman gets the yearly invite at Augusta, but hasn't been able to make the cut since 2013. Also, he hasn't qualified for any other majors since 2012 either, so it's safe to say that his days of besting Woods are behind him. Now at number 2, we've got Michael Campbell. Campbell has 1 PGA Tour win, but he's a quote-unquote pro golfer because he was at the 2005 US Open. He's got the same story as many other bad golfers who somehow bested one of the top golfers to claim their major. At the 05 Open, Campbell finished 2 strokes ahead of some guy named Tiger. Ever heard of him? Yeah, he has a long history of losing to one-time champions. Poor luck. Speaking of luck, Campbell was clearly having a good year back then. Right after the US Open, he tied for 5th at the Open Championship next month, and then got placed in a tie again for 6th at the PGA Championship. And after that season, there's no top 10 major finish on his record. Finally, topping our list of the worst pro golfers to ever win a major tournament, we've got the one and only Shaun Micheel. It's pretty ironic that the worst pro golfer on our list is the same guy who hit one of the most clutch shots in a major championship history. Well, you can't blame us. Micheel has never even been ranked in the top 35 in the world golf rankings. And hey, get this, when he won the 2003 PGA Championship, he was actually ranked 169th in the world. There's no denying that the entire golf world was in shock for the weekend. But also, it's safe to say that this entire tournament was quite a mess. The leaderboard was lacking the big names, with Chad Campbell finishing 2nd and Tim Clark at 3rd. While the 2003 championship was the only tour win for Micheel, he did come close once again in the 2006 championship where he finished 2nd. He lost to that guy named Tiger, by the way. Micheel's golf career has pretty much gone downhill since then. In fact, he missed the cut in more than half of the past 23 majors he entered. And that's a wrap for this video. Which worst pro golfer's major win surprised you the most? Did we skip any surprise winner on our list? Let us know in the comments below. Before you head out, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more awesome content like this. See you in the next one!